The San Francisco 49ers are facing yet another wave of troubling injury news as the season pushes forward, and this time it involves both young wide receiver Ricky Pearsall and starting quarterback Brock Purdy, two players who are crucial to the team's offensive identity. And the timing of these setbacks could not be worse, as the team continues preparing for their next matchup while already battling the lingering absence of key contributors from earlier weeks. So when the news came out of practice, since that Pearsall was being held out with knee soreness, it raised immediate concern among coaches, teammates, and fans, because while the rookie has insisted that the injury is minor and that he could play if there were a game today, the fact that he was kept off the field is a clear sign that the medical staff wants to be cautious, especially since knee issues have a way of worsening quickly if not managed properly, and Pearsall's development has been one of the bright spots for the team so far. This year, as his speed, reliable hands, and route running have given the 49ers another dangerous weapon to pair alongside their veteran receivers, which makes any injury news surrounding him especially difficult to swallow. But while the Pearsall news caused a stir, the update on quarterback Purdy is just as concerning, since the young signal caller, who has already missed time with a toe injury, was once again limited in practice, a reminder that he is not yet fully healthy, even though his return is critical for the team's offensive rhythm, and while his limited involvement is technically progress from when he was sidelined completely, there is still uncertainty about whether he will be able to take the field at 100% in the coming week, which leaves the 49ers quarterback situation in flux, particularly because backup Mac Jones is also dealing with a knee issue of his own and was likewise restricted in practice, creating a scenario where both the starter and his top backup are battling injuries at the same time, something no team wants to deal with heading into a tough matchup. And when you combine Pearsall's knee situation with Purdy's toe and Jones's knee, the picture for San Francisco's offense looks cloudy. But this is also nothing new for the 49ers, a franchise that has dealt with an unfortunate reputation for frequent injuries over the last several seasons, and each time they seem to build momentum, health becomes a roadblock, which has led fans and analysts alike to question whether this is just bad luck, a training approach that needs to be reconsidered, or simply the reality of playing such a physical sport at the highest level. Yet, despite the frustration, the team continues to press forward, leaning on its depth and resilience. And this week will be no different, as head coach Kyle Shanahan and his staff begin drawing up contingencies, knowing they may need to shuffle lineups depending on how Pearsall, Purdy, and Jones respond to treatment. And rest. And while it is reassuring that Pearsall himself has downplayed his soreness, the team will have to monitor him closely to avoid aggravating the issue, because rookie players especially need careful management in their first year when their bodies are adjusting to the demands of an NFL season. And as for Purdy, who has already established himself as the leader of the offense, the stakes are even higher since the team's success often rises and falls with the quality of his play. And without him fully healthy, the passing game struggles to maintain balance, forcing more weight on the running game and the defense, which, although strong, cannot carry the entire load indefinitely. So while optimism exists that Purdy will be able to suit up, there is no denying that every missed practice rep puts pressure on the coaching staff to prepare for alternative scenarios, including potentially giving more work to the third-string quarterback if both Purdy and Jones are not cleared. And that possibility, while not ideal, is why roster depth is always emphasized in the NFL, because 1 week can shift everything, and the 49ers are now living in that reality, juggling multiple injuries at once while trying to keep their playoff hopes and divisional ambitions intact. And the timing of all of this, right before a challenging matchup with the Jacksonville Jaguars, only adds to the anxiety, because Jacksonville has been showing flashes of being a tough, physical opponent with the ability to capitalize on any weakness, meaning the 49ers will need every healthy weapon they can get on the field. And while some fans might panic at the news, it's worth remembering that both Pearsall and Purdy have shown resilience before, with Pearsall fighting through bumps and bruises in college, and Purdy proving last season that he can recover quickly and still play effectively despite setbacks. But what makes this situation especially nerve-wracking is the accumulation of injuries across key offensive positions all at once, which feels like a pattern the franchise cannot seem to shake, as year after year injuries test their depth chart and force them to adjust on the fly. And now, as this week unfolds, all eyes will be on the daily practice reports to see if Pearsall is back on the field in any capacity, and whether Purdy can progress from limited to full participation, which would go a long way toward calming nerves. While Mac Jones's status also remains critical since the team cannot afford to have both quarterbacks sidelined or playing below 100%. And though the medical updates remain cautious rather than catastrophic, the broader takeaway is that the 49ers are once again entering a pivotal game week, not knowing exactly who will be available and at what capacity, which has been an unfortunate recurring theme for the team in recent years. And the hope among fans is that this time the injuries remain minor, allowing Pearsall to continue his promising rookie season. And Purdy to reclaim his full command of the offense, because when both are healthy, the 49ers' attack is dynamic and difficult to stop. But when they are missing or limited, the offense can sputter, putting pressure on other players like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey to shoulder even greater responsibility. And while those stars are certainly capable of delivering, football is always a team sport, and depth at every position matters over the course of a long season. So for now, the 49ers will focus on recovery, preparation, and maintaining composure in the face of yet another round of adversity. Because while the headlines emphasize the bad news of Pearsall's knee and Purdy's toe, there is still time for both to heal and suit up, and the outcome of the next game may depend on how quickly they can bounce back. But regardless of whether they are at full strength, the one constant is that this team, hardened by repeated battles with injuries in the past, will once again be asked to show resilience, adaptability, and the determination to keep moving forward, because that is the only way to survive in the NFL, where injuries are inevitable, and the only question is how a team responds when they come.